Turns out there's this whole hidden world of like stuff that impacts our trading. And it's not charts and graphs.
Nope.
Today we are diving deep into the world of trading psychology. You ready for this?
I am. Yeah, we're breaking down mastering the markets. We're going to unmask the emotional traps that can really sabotage even the best traders out there.
So we're talking like fear, greed, overconfidence, these emotions that can take a winning strategy and
turn it upside down.
yeah, not so winning anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, these emotions, they're not like specific to trading. They're part of, just being human.
Being a person, yeah.
But in the world of trading, things can get amplified.
Stakes are higher.
Yeah, high stakes. And that's when we make those costly mistakes.
So true. Okay, let's start with fear. Mastering the markets does a really good job at breaking down how fear shows up when we're trading. And it's not always how we think.
Right. Like, usually we think about fear of loss, right? That awful pit-in-your-stomach feeling when your investment starts going down.
Oh, I know it well.
Imagine you buy a stock, it's doing great, everything's going up, you're feeling fantastic, and then bam, suddenly it drops.
Yeah.
Like the market is playing a cruel joke on you. And then all you can think about is, oh, I got to minimize my losses.
I can picture it, yeah, and I can feel it. It's that impulse to just hit, like, sell, 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 before it gets any worse.
Right, and that is when a lot of traders make a move. They're selling at a loss, and then what happens? The stock rebounds.
Of course it does, yep.
The book gives us a great example of a trader who, out of panic, just sells a stock, only to see it go up 15% the next week.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. It's like the fear becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy. But you mentioned there's another side to fear when it comes to trading.
Absolutely. We call it FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Oh, FOMO, yes.
It's that feeling you get when it seems like everyone else is making money, except for you.
Oh, it gets you every time, whether it's a hot stock tip or some new crypto craze. We've all felt that, like, pull to jump on that bandwagon.
Totally. And FOMO can make us do some crazy things, like throw out our whole trading plan, the one we thought was so solid.
The one you spent weeks on.
Yeah. And then we just chase after these risky investments, often when it's too late.
So we've got these two sides of fear. The fear of loss that makes us sell too early, and then FOMO that makes us jump in way too late. Either way, it seems like fear, it can really mess us up.
For sure. Fear can lead to these impulsive emotional decisions. And the thing is, this doesn't just apply to trading. Think about a time when you panicked and made a choice you regretted later.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you sold a stock too soon, or maybe you bought something you didn't even need.
Yeah.
Recognizing how much fear plays into our choices, that's a big lesson. And it goes way beyond just trading.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Fear can mess with us in all parts of life. But knowing that fear is there, that's got to be the first step, right?
Exactly.
So, we've unmasked the two faces of fear in trading. Let's move on to another big emotion that can make or break us. Greed. This one's tricky. So greed, it's like it calls to us, right?
Yeah.
Greed in the markets, it's tempting.
It really is. It whispers promises of riches.
Yes.
And it can make us do some, well, irrational things.
Totally.
Mastering the markets has this great analogy. A gambler who's on a hot streak. They're winning, feeling invincible. Suddenly, the stakes don't seem so high. They start throwing caution to the wind, ignoring their initial plan, just chasing bigger and bigger wins. And
They lose it all.
the house always wins.
It's so easy to get swept up in that feeling. You're winning, you feel like you can't lose, you see those profits, and
You just want more.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
your brain is hooked. You're chasing that dopamine rush of a win.
Exactly. And that's what makes greed so dangerous.
Uh.
We lose sight of the big picture. We totally forget about managing risk.
Yeah.
We hold on to investments way too long, hoping for just a little bit more.
Just a little more, yeah. It's funny because mastering the markets, it really stresses that trading is all about probabilities, not guarantees.
Right.
But greed, it makes us forget that.
It really does. It's just like that saying, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered.
Oh, yeah.
Greed can turn us into those pigs, holding on for dear life while the market's turning against us. The book talks about this trader who was blinded by greed, ignored every single warning sign, rode that stock all the way down.
Ouch.
Big losses.
That's rough. It makes me think of that other line from the book. The market doesn't owe you anything.
So true. That is so important to keep in mind. No matter how well you think you understand the market, it can always surprise you. Greed makes us forget it's all a game of probabilities. There are no guarantees.
Right. So we talked about how fear makes us sell too early or jump in way too late. Now we see how greed makes us hold on for too long, ignoring what we know is right. It's like our emotions, they're working against us.
Yeah. And that brings us to our final emotional saboteur,
Okay.
overconfidence.
This is an interesting one because you need confidence for trading, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to trust your gut and your
You
strategy.
have to trust your analysis.
Yeah.
Confidence is key. But mastering the markets points out there's a fine line
Oh, I see.
between, healthy confidence and overconfidence.
I'm listening. How do we know when we've crossed that line?
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
It really is. Picture this, right? A trader who's on a roll. They've had all these wins. They're feeling invincible, like they've cracked the code,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trading. It gets riskier. They ignore the plan they made.
Oh, no.
And they start thinking their success is all because they're a genius, not because of their skill and, well, luck.
Yeah, a little bit of luck is always involved.
Definitely.
It's like that saying, pride comes before a fall. And when it comes to trading, that fall can be brutal.
Absolutely. Overconfidence leads to recklessness, and that leads to, well, bigger losses. And then you lose your confidence, and it can be really hard to recover from.
So then, how do you walk that line between being confident, but not too confident? I mean, mastering the markets has to have some tips for this, right?
Yeah.
So I've got fear making us doubt everything, greed making us chase those big, tempting wins, and overconfidence telling us we're invincible. It's like our emotions, they're out to get our portfolios.
Right.
But mastering the markets, it doesn't just leave us hanging, does it? There are tools we can use to, like, diffuse these emotional landmines.
Exactly. And it all starts with, knowing yourself, right? Being self-aware. We have to recognize those patterns in our emotions
Yeah.
that are driving our decisions.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? It's not like our emotions, they come with little labels.
That would be helpful.
Right. Saying, watch out, fear is here.
Exactly. That's where the trading journal comes in.
Okay.
And I know it might seem kind of basic,
Yeah.
but seriously, game changer.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. Because I'll be honest, I used to think those were just for, like, wins and losses. What's the bigger picture?
It's all about making those connections, your emotions and your trades. Instead of just bought this stock at this price, you write down how you felt
Okay.
before, during, after. Were you anxious about the news? Did you get a hot tip and get overly optimistic? Did you totally ignore your plan because FOMO kicked in?
So you're taking those feelings that are often invisible and making them into something real that you can see, data points.
Exactly. Then you start to see, whoa, every time I'm impatient, I make a really bad decision.
It's all right there in black and white.
Yes. And once you see that pattern, you can anticipate it, right? Head it off. So let's say you notice you sell too early because you're afraid. Maybe you adjust your strategy, take a longer-term view, or use those stop-loss orders. Manage that risk.
So the trading journal helps us actually trade smarter, not just
Yeah.
more emotional, I'm convinced. What other practical tips does mastering the markets give?
One of the big ones is to have a really solid trading plan. And this is key. You have to actually stick to it.
Okay, easier said than done sometimes, right?
Right. But this means, knowing how much risk you can handle, setting those entry and exit points, deciding in advance how much you're willing to lose.
So when those emotions start to get to you, you have that plan. You're not making decisions in the heat of the moment.
Yes. Think of it like a road trip. You wouldn't go on a road trip without a map,
Right.
your trading plan, that's your roadmap
Yeah.
to the markets. It keeps you on track even when those emotional detours pop up.
I love that. Okay, but what about those moments when you are just glued to the screen, watching the numbers go up and down, and you can feel yourself getting swept up in it?
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
That's where things like stop loss and take profit orders are super helpful. They're like preset orders. So they automatically happen at a certain price.
Yeah.
You take the emotion out of it.
So even if you're, like, terrified and want to hold on, a stop loss will sell for you if it drops to that point. And a take profit order, that's the opposite. It locks in your profits even if you're feeling greedy and want to push your luck.
Exactly. Think of them like your automated assistants, helping you stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Even when your emotions are like, let's do something crazy.
It's like a little voice of reason whispering to you, don't do it.
Right. And then finally, never underestimate taking a break.
Oh, good one.
Sometimes the best thing you can do when the markets are going crazy, or you are, is to just step away,
Yeah,
clear your head, get some perspective.
that is such a good point. And it's not just for trading. We could all use a little bit of that. Taking a step back, breathing and coming back to things calmer.
For sure.
Well, this has been amazing. A real eye-opening look at trading psychology. Mastering the markets, it turns out it starts with mastering ourselves and the things we've talked about today, understanding the traps, having strategies to manage our emotions. It makes us more confident, more disciplined, and yeah, more successful traders.
Without a doubt.
And who knows, maybe these insights, they can even help us in other areas of our lives too.
Oh, absolutely. This goes way beyond trading. It's about understanding people and how we make decisions and learning to be more self-aware and emotionally intelligent to make better choices in all areas of life.
That's so true. So to everyone listening, remember, knowledge is power. Now you know these emotional traps exist, you can avoid them. Until next time, happy trading, everyone.